Hello everyone, welcome back to Aizawa podfic. This will be the starting of a new fic entitled Hysterical by Spark the Fangirl. Before that, skip to the number on the screen if you want to skip the yap sesh, because there's a lot to talk about. So I've been gone because a lot of stuff happening in my life, like jobs, driving, stuff like that. Natural growing up things. Second, I didn't have a mic, and the one on the computer I've been using to record broke. And so I finally got a new mic, and then I didn't have a converter so it could fit into my computer. I needed a USB-A to C converter, and I finally got one. But then I was like, I need to stop doing raw footage, and so now I'm just using my phone. So, yeah. I probably could have thought of that way sooner, so I apologize. It's been quite a minute, like 6 months, something like that, but yeah. I'd also like to apologize to the author for not, I asked a year ago to all the people, all the fics I have had in line. I asked a year or more ago to podfic, and I just never got to it, so yeah. And another thing is I'm going to be re-recording all the fics I've already done because I just don't like the quality, and they all suck, to put it short. There's too much yapping in the background. There's a lot of shit going on, So that could all change, immediately. So after this, and once I finish Hysterical, I'll probably start re-recording new fics, or re-recording the old fics. Yeah, so let me fix my lights real quick and let's get started. Also, don't mind my stuttering. To be fair, I haven't read out loud in half a year, so here's the summary. Midoriya's quirk isn't what anyone is expecting. That's not to say it's bad, quite the opposite. It's just that things are put in a different perspective when you regularly die. Midoriya still dreams of becoming a hero, and when he does, well, no one was expecting this. Aizawa needs a vacation, All Might doesn't know how to handle his suicidal successor, and Bakugou is the only student that is absolutely terrified of this cheerful yet surprisingly deadly hero in training. And Midoriya, well, he's a little bitch with no regard for personal safety, and someone decided to give him an enhanced strength quirk on top of it. AKA Midoriya has an immortality quirk, and no one knows how to handle it, including Midoriya himself. Might as well fake it till he makes it. What's the worst that can happen? Chapter 1, Glitter Part 1, whoopsie, summary, nah, he dead. Izuku Midoriya was 5 when he died for the first time. The first time, mind you, because it sure as hell wouldn't be the last. His mother was standing outside their apartment, talking to Mitsuki after Midoriya's dentist appointment. He wasn't paying much attention, Bakugou wasn't with her today, and besides, he hadn't been very nice ever since he had gotten his quirk and Midoriya hadn't. Instead of listening to his mother talk, he decided to play with the red bouncy ball he had gotten from the dental office. Midoriya would throw it as hard as he could against the sidewalk and then fumble to catch it as it fell back down. He did this over and over and over again. It was just entertaining enough to keep his focus. This time, he was trying to see if he could bounce it higher than the sapling in front of the building. He wound up getting ready to throw it, and with an internal Delaware smash, he chucked it down with all his might. The ball soared up, higher than even the tree. Midoriya grinned until he realized that the ball's trajectory had it now heading into the street. His eyes widened as he ran to the curb, determined to grab the ball back. As it rolled across the street, he chased after it, his only thought being that his mother would be so mad if he lost his new toy. She wouldn't be, of course. I have no idea why he thought that, but in his defense, he was only 5. The ball was only a few feet away. Izuku could almost reach it. He crouched down, hand outstretched, and splat! He didn't feel any pain, only a slight tingle across his whole body as he watched red leak out of his limp body. That probably shouldn't be happening, he thought. Then everything went black. And then he opened his eyes. It was a bit disorienting, to be honest. The last thing he remembered was a car and someone screaming. Had it been him? He couldn't remember. For the record, it was his mother. Don't blame her, though. She had just watched her son get run over and die, after all. And then his mother was clutching his face, sobbing, and there was the car and Bakugou's mother and his red ball in the gutter across the street, and he thought that he remembered Red, but he couldn't see any blood and... "You're alive?" It was his quirk. After a huge mess and lots of tears, Midoriya couldn't help himself when he saw his mother crying, and a very strange conversation with the man who had been driving. Inko drove him to see a specialist across the city. This was probably because the pediatrician they had seen a year prior was clearly incompetent, and also a bit of a jerk. Who just outright crushes a kid's dream like that? But I digress. Could you perhaps elaborate a bit on how Izuku looked right after the, incident? Inko sat up, straighter, and sniffled a bit. He wasn't moving, and so we rushed over and... She sniffled again. There was blood everywhere, but when I got closer, I realized that it was, well, shimmery. Shimmery. Inko nodded. As I watched, it started turning kind of gold-colored, and then it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes at the most. It started to almost flow back towards Izuku. It kind of collected on him, coating him. She paused and took a breath. And then it turned into this, gold dust. I want to say it looked almost like glitter. The doctor nodded, scribbling vigorously into his notebook. This was because the doctor was fascinated with quirks, and this one was the most interesting one he'd seen yet. Part of him wondered if he could write about this experience on his blog. And after a minute or two, the glitter exploded, and Izuku was fine. The doctor was still writing in his book, but he muttered, "Fascinating, absolutely fascinating." And with a loud clap, he finally closed the notebook. Well, that is most definitely the result of a late-formed quirk. And on top of that, I think this is perhaps the most interesting quirk I have ever heard of. Inka was a little taken aback at the doctor's outgoing response, but she sat up a bit straighter at the mention of a quirk. This is such a rare mutation, though. I've never heard of a quirk this interesting before. But going by my knowledge of high-powered quirks, I'm nearly positive that there must be another aspect to it. The doctor turned to Izuku, lowering his head. "You said that it didn't hurt, huh?" His voice had taken on a lighter tone while speaking to the child. Midoriya shook his head vigorously, clucking a red bouncy ball to his chest. Lifting his head, the doctor continued talking to Inko. "That could be it. It's possible that he won't feel pain for the rest of his life. However, that's not necessarily a good thing. It could mean that he'll always have to be careful with normal activities in order to not harm his body. We feel pain for a reason, and suppressing that can have unwanted consequences." Inko furrowed her eyebrows in response. "It should be pretty easy to test, though," he said cheerfully before turning to Midoriya again. The doctor then leaned forward and gave him a small pinch on his arm. "That hurt at all?" Midoriya shook his head. "Izuku, I'm going to push you again a little harder, but stop me if it starts to hurt, okay?" "Okay," Midoriya said. The doctor took his arm once more and gave a hard pinch. Midoriya didn't even flinch. Even when the doctor sat back up and revealed his arm to be red in 2 distinct marks. Well, that just about proves it. Seems like his nerves have been altered because of his quirk. His brain will no longer register pain. However, feeling pain is crucial in daily life. It tells us to stop touching that hot pan, to not walk on our hurt leg, and such. He'll have to be very careful to not harm himself, and once he does, to be very careful to not injure himself even more. The doctor was energetically scribbling in his notebook as he spoke, but he stopped when he saw Inko, wringing her hands nervously, eyebrows furrowed. It probably wouldn't be that bad. He seems to have a healing aspect to his quirk, if this morning was any indication, so we'll just have to wait and see. "I have a quirk," Midoriya said, tentatively after a moment of silence. "You do, and it's a very interesting one," the doctor told him softly. Midoriya tilted his head thoughtfully, and after considering it for a moment, his eyes lit up and he jumped to his feet, yelling, "I'm gonna be a hero!" Inko looked like she was about to faint. And that would be the end of Chapter 1 of Hysterical. Stick around, because I'm probably going to explain some more things that's probably going to change about the channel. First things first, the profile picture is probably going to change. I have a friend saying that they'll make one for me. But the one I currently have, I found off the internet, and I'm now realizing that I probably shouldn't just steal someone's art and make it my profile picture. I'm probably also going to be posting a bit less frequently. 1 video a week or every other week. When I get back in the feel of things, I'm going to be probably doing 3 a week. It's just like a matter of, getting back into the groove or whatever. Until I do get into the feel of, posting again, there's other podfickers out there like Ray of Sunshine podfics, Echo Rainstorm, Put Your Hands Up podfics, Onyx Sunflower, Izzy Owl, Silleaf. I don't know if Silleaf changed their podfic name. I haven't looked at them in a while. There's tons out there. There's Viridian. There's so many, I can't list them all. There's also other fandoms. There's AI ones if you're into that. I'm not so sure. It's kind of a distinct taste of podfics. But, yeah, if until I get back into that groove, listen to them, and I do recommend listening to them, even when I am, because they're great podfickers. Okay, hold on, I have to look through a few more. There's Buggy Cask, anime podfics, there's Sundown Moon Up podfics, Angst Eater podfics, Basil, Eleanor Elizabeth, Insect Overlord, My Lost and Found, Patch, I think that's her name, Patch. There's a lot. There's many. The list goes on for days. You can DM me on Discord if you need recommendations. And that's about it for me for the night. So have a great day or night, and yeah, drink some water. Bye.